Hey everyone, Cole here with Classic Mini DIY, and on today's episode of Toyota Tacoma DIY, we are going to be installing, well, spraying my wheels with a new product called SuperWrap. They sent this over to me. They have a ton of different colors, but in my case, I'm going to be spraying my wheels with this onyx black color. It's supposed to be high gloss, really pretty, and it's going to black out my wheels. The first thing that we need to do is get out into the carport, and we need to get the wheels off of the truck. So I've got my jack stands, and we're going to be lifting up the truck and taking those wheels off. So let's jump out there. Now, like I said, the next step is to get in here and take the wheels off of the car. That obviously includes the tires. Now, you're going to need a jack that is going to be strong enough and big enough to lift up whatever car you're doing this on, as well as the wheel lock key here in the event that you have wheel locks. In my case, I don't have them, so just regular lug nuts. Let's get these suckers off. All right, so your next step, of course, is cleaning the wheels, and cleaning them is as simple as, getting in there, really getting all the grit off, and then taking a microfiber towel, drying it off really well, and making sure to get all of the surface stuff off of the wheels. Now, I'm gonna let that stuff dry for a little bit. Obviously, we want this to be really dry before we spray it, and there is a prep spray that we're gonna install on it as well. One thing I wanna mention while we're waiting for that to dry is, you see this center cap here that I have off of my truck? I want this to stay chrome. I think that it looks really good. My lug nuts are gonna stay chrome as well. So what I can do, I just found out, there are little nubbies here that you can pinch together, and this thing should come out. So I'm gonna go do that. I can't do it with my fingers, I need a little needle nose plier. So I'll take that off and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So as you can see, Toyota symbol came right off, and so this can stay chrome. This will turn that nice onyx black. So I'm gonna do that with the other ones, and then we're gonna get the prep spray out and clean these up. All right, so this next step, we are going to be applying a surface preparation, and this is gonna help the SuperWrap apply to this really nicely. Now, the instructions for this say that you need to put this on there, let it sit for a minute, and then really dry it off. You don't want to apply the SuperWrap to something that is wet or damp or has any sort of moisture left in it. So let's go ahead and apply this. Now, the key to the next portion of this process here is, of course, preparation. Now, we've obviously been prepping this whole time, but we also need to prep to make sure that we don't overspray onto the tires. And that's done by just simply taking some masking tape, going around the edge of the wheel here, taking care to get that tape underneath the lip of the wheel. And then you're gonna wanna tape the inside here, so maybe just from the back side, so that you don't get any unnecessary overspray onto the other side of the wheel, or maybe the floor that you're painting this on. Also, don't forget, you need to mask off your valve stem. Now, you may have noticed the last thing I did was take a hard piece of plastic and kind of run my plastic along the edge of this, this wheel here. And what that does is it makes sure that the tape itself is separated from the wheel. When we take this off, we're going to want to take extra care to make sure that doesn't like peel up the vinyl when we unmask it. But the general idea here is just to create a gap there so that the spray can get in and get around the edge. Now, the next thing is obviously we want to mask off a little bit more of the top of the wheel here, so that we don't overspray. All right, and the last thing is obviously the other side of the wheel. I'm gonna flip this up and really get the back side of the wheel as well. All right, and last but not least, we've got our valve stem masked off here. Now we're just gonna do the same thing to all the other wheels so that they're ready. All right, and so now it's the moment of truth. In my case, I am going to be using the gloss black color here. This is like an onyx color from what I understand. First, you need to shake this up vigorously for about a minute, and then you're gonna apply wet coats every 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the conditions around you. In my case, it's very sunny and it's warm, so I'm probably not gonna need the full 10 minutes in between coats. Go over many times with many light coats versus one heavy coat. You're gonna wanna make sure that it applies evenly and smoothly. I'm gonna do this for this wheel here, and then my center caps that are off to the side. All right, so now all that's left is the top coat. Now this top coat is made for protecting this finish and to really make it shine, really make it look nice. If you're familiar with products like Plastidip, this would be kind of like the glossifier step. However, you guys can see already how shiny this finish is. This is nothing like those other products, I have to tell you. This finish, even without the top coat, would look incredible just as is. But I'm gonna go ahead, get this top coat on here. Now the application for this top coat is very similar. You need to shake it up for about a minute, and then you apply one light first coat, give it about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you apply one wet coat by overlapping each stroke to get a really, really nice wet appearance. I'm obviously just reading the back of this thing right now. Now after that second coat, that's when you're gonna wanna remove the masking. You're gonna wanna remove this while it's still wet, because it's gonna help allow that to disengage and peel, and it'll keep you from peeling off this brand new, beautiful finish you have on your wheel. Now, keep in mind that this is gonna take around 6 to 12 hours to dry, depending on how hot it is where you are. So I will say this whole process, it takes a little while, so you're just gonna wanna be conscious of that. Right now, it's only 3:30 here, so that puts it kind of into the evening, and I'll have these wheels done, dry, and ready to go back on the car. And then I'm gonna let it sit overnight before I drive the truck anywhere. So let's get this applied. Now with this last coat, you're gonna wanna make sure that you unmask it before it dries. That's gonna make sure that you don't have any sort of weird cuts or anything. And the easiest way to do that is with a card coming around the edge and peeling up this tape as you come around and undo it. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And there we have it, folks, our final application, our final finish. That is looking really good. Now we're gonna let that dry, peel off the stuff on all the other ones, and I'll show you guys what it looks like on the truck. All right, so the wheels are done. I think that they turned out really, really well. I mean, the finish is just beautiful. I'm actually really blown away by just how good that finish is. I hope you guys liked this episode. I do have plans to do something with the wheels on my Mini, so if you guys have any recommendations of colors that you'd like me to paint the wheels on the Mini, this stuff is semi-permanent, so I can take it off if I decide I don't like a color, something like that. So post your suggestions in the comment section below. If you have any questions about the application of this, or you guys want to pick up some SuperWrap for yourself, there are links in the description. Obviously, those links give me a small kickback and help support the channel. But aside from that, that wraps up this episode. So until the next Toyota Tacoma DIY video, I will catch you guys on Classic Mini DIY. So, see ya.